We're in Venice, California.
We're in our back garden.
We're in our back garden.
Our back garden.
We're in our back garden?
Yes.
We're in our back garden in Venice,
People
California.
may think this is a stock back garden.
This is not a stock back garden. This is
one
a back
that
garden.
podcasters use to show
And
how-
anyone, by the way, who sees any mess anywhere, please don't mention that.
There's a pandemic on.
There's a pandemic on. So it's very useful when you're making this cocktail. So I'm going to call this the pandemic cocktail. My spicy...
Can I just say, if you want to see our back garden, go to YouTube if you're listening to this. I know most people listen to it on the podcast, but actually go to the YouTube video and watch it there.
Yes.
And a film scoop.
All right. So we're going to make my go-to pandemic spicy tequila cocktail thing. And this is kind of... And so it's useful to have one of these to produce the lime juice. So I'm going to give you a pint glass. Look at this, by the way. Can I just say, Guinness, lime juice. Do you see that noise now? I hope that noise isn't a problem. Can you make the lime juice there for me, Phil?
How do I make the lime juice now?
So I want you to cut that lime in
half. Like
and,
this?
and by the way,
Cut it in
I
half
think
like
this...
that?
Yeah, cut it in half of that. But I think
you're left
this
with two halves.
is like the most useful thing ever. I love this thing for squeezing limes.
What would you call that thing for people who are not...
A lime
see it?
squeezing. A lime squeeze... by the way, it's called it's a citrus squeezer. It's a citrus squeezer. Really easy to say that,
Did you pick
by the
these
way.
limes from your own garden? Or?
I did not. These fabulous limes came, by the way, look at these gorgeous limes. Hang on, people can't see these limes. These limes, beautiful limes, came from Costco.
Picked
Oh, God.
especially in Costco.
Costco. What I would do with this cocktail is, and I'm going to make this spicy, and how I'm going to make it spicy is I'm going to introduce a jalapeno. And what I do is I buy a whole bunch of jalapenos and I put them into the freezer for this very purpose. And then Phelim is also going to
Is
cut...
this where I say, and here's one I prepared earlier?
No, it's not, because we're not going to do that. And actually, it's becoming a problem because I brought the ice out of the kitchen and now I keep on having to empty out the water out of the ice. And I've got to... You know, a lot of people have those fancy, cocktail shakers. So I don't have one, and I didn't have one for the pandemic. So you know what's great is a jam jar. And I love jam jars, and it's really funny. I have a real problem with getting rid of jam jars, so the house is full of jam jars. And this
I can
beauty,
attest to
if
that.
you were making this cocktail for a large group of people, you could use one of these, which would be very good.
Can you hear that? Can you hear that noise?
I can hear that
it sounds like
noise.
we're having...
Oh, and by the way, we need to find the cat's film. So many of these have you squeezed now? Not enough yet.
Two.
Oh,
It's a
really?
slow-
That's
yeah,
two.
this
That's
is-
quite a lot of juice, by the way.
Yeah.
From a two,
This is
from
where...
two.
Here's one I prepared earlier.
And can I just
Should
say that
really-
what's very good about this, by the way, is that citrus is very good for you anyway. So this is a great way of introducing citrus. It's like, it reminds me of a very good friend of mine from Scotland that you know, Phelim,
Yes.
who used to prepare carrots using sugar and said, vegetables need help. And so, you could
That's right, she
you could
did
remember
say
that
that,
she
yeah.
did that. Now, in fairness, her carrots were very nice. I think
They
I've
were
got enough lime juice.
superb.
I've got enough lime juice right there. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to...
So, in the cookery programs, I don't see them do it so much in American ones, particularly in British ones, they used to say, here's one I prepared earlier, and they get rid of all this
They
prep
never
stuff.
do that. They never
Yes.
do that with a drink.
But what do you think happened, the thing that we were preparing, so they're doing all this, and then...
Oh no, but that would get... Somebody else would cook that. Oh gosh, I can't get the top off that film. That's the one. So what happened there with this bottle was that we lost the bottle top of it. So we put a plastic top bottle on it.
All
Just
right.
to kind of... Okay, I opened it. The other thing that I think is really useful to have, I really think this is useful to have, and by the way, this is a piece of advice. Oh, Phelim, that's enough now.
Okay.
That's enough lime for right now. Thanks a million. And by the way, what I want you to do now is I want you to cut really thin slices of that jalapeno, which is frozen jalapeno. Yum, 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 yum. For those of you who like spicy drinks.
Can I just
say that
be
John
excused
Michael...
for a moment
My
to go and
go
see-
get the cats?
Yes. Yes.
And see where they are. So while Phelim's gone, I'm going to just say that I think this is a really useful thing to have, a measure for alcohol. And my father made the point, and my father was extremely abstemious, but he made the point that by having a measure, if you were to offer someone an alcoholic beverage in your home and you had a measure, the person who takes the alcoholic beverage knows exactly what they've had. You know what I mean? It makes sense. So that this is a measure. So I love this. I have two of them. But yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm going to measure out one measure of tequila, and I think this is
So
1.5 ounces.
this is Top Cat.
Oh, there's Top Cat. I'm
So-
trying to think where I'm going to put this now. I
Top
think I'm going to
Cat
put it in here.
Is rather sleepy.
I'm going to put it in there.
But people have been complaining they haven't seen the cats as much.
Are you sure the cat can be seen in the camera now?
Yes, I can. Yes, you can. Look at the camera, Top Cat. Say hello to all the people that've been asking about you.
Look at all the people.
They've been asking about you.
See what I've done there now? I've got the tequila in there and I've got the ice in there.
And he's going to make a run
Now
for
I'm
it
going to put in this lime juice. This
Okay.
wonderful lime juice. You need a second cat, by the way,
didn't
Phil.
have a microphone.
Lime juice.
Well, I think.
I
you know.
also want you to put in, to cut me up, lots and lots of
Do we keep the seeds?
jalapeno. Yeah, keep the seeds. Keep the seeds
Oh.
for me because, oh no, that's where
Ooh.
the heat is. That's where the heat is.
What's that?
I'm going to throw that in. Don't worry about that. Throw that in.
Isn't there something about the seeds making something bitter or something like that?
No, they make it really hot. That's where all the heat is.
Oh, those tomatoes that make the seeds are bitter.
Okay,
Isn't that right?
this is going to go in here.
And
then-
I'm asking advice for all the people out there who think it should keep the seeds.
If I put it, I haven't got everything
Or
in here.
more
No,
jalapenos?
I want you to stop for a minute now. Actually, you know what? Put them in anyway. I really like it hot. Okay, stop there now.
Well, actually, I should wash my hands after dealing with that cat.
You should.
Okay, I'm going to have to wash my hands.
He's going to wash his hands, but he cut the jalapeno, and the jalapeno is in the. Are you sure? So the next thing that I would say is, this is a pandemic cocktail. So what do you put in here, as a mixer? Anything, I think, is the answer. Perrier water is one possibility. If you don't have anything else, I'd prefer something more fizzy, and I would like club soda. You know what I like about club soda? It has 0 calories.
I'm back.
Film's back.
For hands
And
that
then-
do dishes that are as soft as your face. Mild green, very liquid.
No idea what that's about. Except, oh yeah, so then the other thing I have to say, and I think this is important, I really think this is actually something that I feel really strongly about. Schweppes tonic water. So, I might take my hair out of my mouth. So Schweppes tonic water, right, this is diet tonic water. And by the way, Canada Dry would never have been acceptable in my home. Schweppes is the only one to go with. But Schweppes regular tonic water has 33 grams of sugar per portion. So that's an enormous amount of sugar, which I actually think ruins the drink. I want my mixer to have no sugar in it. So I'm going to go with this one, which is a diet tonic water containing quinine. And given the fact that perhaps there's a connection between malaria treatments and the COVID, I think getting a bit of quinine in here, why not?
If the president recommended it, I'll eat the
It's
fish.
good enough for
tank
me.
finger.
Oh! Alrighty, that wasn't meant to happen.
No.
Okay, this is going to go in here. A little bit of this, like that. And by the way, clearly you're going to all write and say I didn't do any measuring, and that's probably not a good thing. And I'll do that again another time. But right now, this is, as I said, a pandemic cocktail. So we're just working with what we have. Isn't that great? And actually, this is another use for a husband. Let me put this back on properly, and you do a bit of shaking there, Phil.
Do you have a cocktail glass? Are you going to...
Oh yeah, a cocktail glass. That's a good one, actually. I hadn't thought about that. And the truth is, I don't actually have cocktail glasses
Okay,
anyway.
we'll just use the pint glass.
I just
then.
really, no, we're not going to drink it out of a pint glass.
No?
I'm going to drink it out of this.
Yeah.
A little bit of this. But actually, when you go into the kitchen
That is
there,
a
Philip,
pint glass then.
that's not a pint glass. Do you think that's a pint glass?
Yes.
Anyway, isn't this delightful? Now, what you could know, by the way, some of you are looking and thinking, first of all, spicy. You don't have to do spicy. The other people are looking and thinking, oh God bless us, that's incredibly bitter, right? I don't have a problem with that. I actually like it like that because I'm bitter anyway, right? Is that what you're trying to say? So what you could
She
do
hates
is
sugar. Sugar is evil.
sugar's
for her.
evil. No, but by the way, you know what you could throw in there, and you
Free
totally
sugar.
could. You could put in some honey in there. Totally put in some honey in there. But I actually think, let me just try this, right? And the truth is that we're about to go across the road here in our neighbourhood and have the, what's it called, Phil?
A block party.
A block pandemic.
Block happy hour
A
party.
block pandemic happy hour with our neighbours, who we would never have met, by the way, if it weren't for the pandemic. Can I just say, seriously, that's delightful. That is really delightful. It's really refreshing, my mother's phrase for an alcoholic beverage. Very refreshing, nice and spicy. And I think this, by the way, is brilliant. This, yeah, I as I said, I have a real problem throwing away jars. So